Assalamu alaikum, let's explore this Islamic topic together. Hey, so, you know how we were talking about women in history, and how so many incredible stories are just missing? Well, that got me thinking about the hidden lives of Islamic women scientists. It's a huge deal, not just for understanding history, but also for understanding Islam itself. See, there's this common misconception that Islamic history is all about men, right? Like, we hear about great caliphs and conquerors and thinkers. But the women, they often seem to fade into the background. But the reality is so much richer and more complex. The hidden lives idea isn't just about uncovering forgotten names. It's about rewriting a narrative that's been incomplete for centuries. Think about it. Islam, from its very inception, emphasized knowledge and learning. The Quran itself encourages the pursuit of wisdom and understanding. It's a central pillar of faith. It's constantly urging people to reflect, consider, and seek knowledge. This emphasis wasn't just for men. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, specifically praised women for their intelligence and learning. There are many hadiths, sayings and traditions of the Prophet, highlighting the importance of female education and encouraging women to seek knowledge. Now, obviously, the historical con is crucial here. Different parts of the Islamic world, over different periods, had different social norms and structures. Some areas were more progressive and provided greater opportunities for women than others. But even within those limitations, you find truly remarkable women making groundbreaking contributions. We're not just talking about a few isolated cases. We're talking about a tradition, a lineage of women who were scholars, mathematicians, astronomers, physicians, the works. Their contributions were integral to the golden age of Islam. That period from the 8th to the 13th centuries where Islamic scholarship flourished and spread across vast regions, influencing the world in ways we still see today. Imagine a time when libraries were thriving centers of learning, and women were actively participating in those spaces. Think of women translating ancient Greek into Arabic, preserving knowledge that might otherwise have been lost. Think of female physicians treating patients, developing innovative medical techniques, and writing influential medical essays. Their knowledge wasn't confined to the home. It was shared, debated, and built upon by a wider community of scholars. For example, there's the story of Amina al-Dawla, a powerful and learned woman who ruled a region in Egypt for years. Her expertise in administration, law, and politics was highly regarded. We hear about the pioneering female physicians like Aish al-Baniya, a Sufi poet and mystic whose work shows incredible intellectual depth. Or consider the brilliant mathematicians who developed new methods of calculation and problem solving. Their names may not be household words in the West, but their impact resonated throughout history, often subtly influencing the development of later scientific advancements. It's also important to remember that these women's lives were often lived within specific cultural and religious frameworks. While their accomplishments were significant, the restrictions imposed by societal norms shouldn't be minimized. Many had to overcome significant obstacles to access education and pursue their intellectual passions. They often worked in more private settings, or within the confines of their families or religious institutions, which sadly means many of their works have been lost or forgotten. But the very existence of these women, their achievements, their contributions, all of that fundamentally challenges simplistic and reductive views of Islamic history and the role of women within it. Hidden lives is a powerful corrective to those assumptions. It's about recovering those narratives, giving voice to those silenced, and highlighting the vital role women played in shaping the intellectual and scientific landscape of the Islamic world. It's not just about acknowledging their past, it's about inspiring the future. By showcasing these incredible women and their struggles, we are encouraging more girls and women in Muslim communities and everywhere else to pursue STEM fields and to know that their contributions are valued and necessary. It shows that women have always been at the forefront of intellectual and scientific progress, challenging the outdated stereotypes that still persist. Ultimately, uncovering the hidden lives of Islamic women scientists isn't just about historical accuracy. It's about a reclaiming of a legacy, a recognition of their worth, and a potent statement about the power of women to shape the course of history. It's a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge is a universal human aspiration. Irrespective of gender or background, a powerful and inspiring message woven into the very fabric of Islamic teachings. So, yeah, it's a pretty significant story, wouldn't you say? Hey, so you know how we were talking about overlooked historical figures the other day? Well, I've been reading about this fascinating project, a kind of uncovering of the hidden lives of Islamic women scientists. It's not a single book or anything, more like a whole movement, if you will. It started, I think, with a quiet realization, a growing sense that a huge part of the story of Islamic science was missing. We all know about the golden age of Islam, right? The incredible advancements in mathematics, medicine, astronomy, think Al-Khwarizmi and algebra, Avicenna and his medical encyclopedias, the incredible work on optics and the stars. It was a breathtaking period of intellectual flourishing, spanning centuries. But for a long, long time, the narrative aired almost exclusively on men. The contributions of women were largely silenced. Not intentionally malicious, necessarily, just overlooked. Lost to the sands of time. Buried under layers of societal norms and historical biases. See, in many Islamic societies, particularly in those earlier centuries, women's education and public roles were often limited. This wasn't a universal experience across the Islamic world. There were definitely variations depending on region, time period, and even individual families, but the overall societal norms often channeled women's brilliance into less visible spheres. It wasn't that women weren't studying or contributing. It's just that their contributions weren't documented in the same way men's were. Think about it. A woman might be exceptionally skilled in medicine. For instance, healing people in her community, passing down her knowledge through generations of women in her family. That kind of knowledge transfer wasn't documented in the official scholarly the ones that historians usually relied on to construct our understanding of the past. These women were often working in private settings, within their families or harems, or serving as healers and midwives within their communities. Their work wasn't published in scientific journals, because those didn't really exist in the same way back then. Nor were they necessarily part of the official academic institutions. Their contributions existed, but were undocumented, unacknowledged, and eventually forgotten. So, what started this Hidden Lives project? It wasn't a single event, but rather a gradual awakening. I think it began with scholars and researchers, both men and women, who started digging deeper. Looking beyond the traditional They began to examine personal letters, diaries, family histories, even looking for clues, for hints at the lives and achievements of these often unseen women. They started to realize that the existing narrative was incomplete, deeply flawed, and frankly, unfair. Imagine the painstaking work involved. Unraveling fragmented information, translating ancient piecing together incomplete stories from disparate They had to navigate complex cultural and linguistic barriers, grapple with the biases embedded in historical records, and often work with incredibly scarce materials. But slowly, painstakingly, a different picture started to emerge. They started finding women who had been astronomers, mathematicians, physicians, poets, philosophers, women who made significant contributions to Islamic intellectual life. We're talking about women who, despite societal limitations, managed to achieve incredible things. They might have received their education in private settings, from family members or tutors. Or maybe they found ways to learn from male scholars, secretly or through indirect channels. Sometimes, we find women who were associated with prominent male scholars, their daughters, sisters, wives, and their intellectual contributions were subtly woven into the broader scientific work of the time, finding evidence of their individual contributions, however, often required intense scrutiny, and as these hidden lives began to emerge, it sparked a whole wave of interest. More scholars joined the effort. New research methodologies were developed. There was a growing awareness of the need for a more inclusive and representative understanding of Islamic history, one that properly acknowledged the significant, and often revolutionary, contributions of Islamic women scientists. It wasn't just about filling gaps in the historical record. It was about restoring the sense of justice, of acknowledging the full scope of human genius, regardless of gender. It's about recognizing the impact these women had on their communities and on the wider world, and ensuring that their stories are finally heard. It's become a powerful movement. This uncovering of the hidden lives, a reminder that history isn't just about the victors or the loudest voices, but about all the individuals who shaped our world, however subtly or indirectly. It's a story of resilience, perseverance, and the indomitable human spirit, a testament to women who, despite facing numerous obstacles, found ways to contribute to the advancement of knowledge. And that, my friend, is truly inspiring. It's a story that deserves to be told, and retold, and shared far and wide. Hey, so we were talking about hidden lives of Islamic women scientists, right? We covered the early stuff, the amazing groundwork laid by women in the early centuries of Islam. Now, things get really interesting. This is where the narrative explodes. You know, it's not just a few isolated cases anymore. We're talking about whole networks of female scholarship, thriving in different parts of the Islamic world, despite huge challenges. Remember how we talked about the golden age of Islam? Well, that wasn't just about men. This is where the book really shines, showing how women actively participated in that intellectual flourishing. Think about it, the Abbasid Caliphate, a vast empire stretching from Spain to Persia. It was a melting pot of cultures, ideas, and religions, a period of incredible intellectual exchange. And within that vibrant tapes, women were making monumental contributions to science, medicine, mathematics, and astronomy. One thing that strikes me is how diverse these women were. They weren't a monolithic group. Some came from wealthy, aristocratic families, with access to private libraries and tutors. Others hailed from more humble backgrounds, perhaps learning from their fathers or husbands, working tirelessly to acquire knowledge. But what unites them is their fierce determination to learn, to contribute, and to challenge the assumptions of their time. Let's imagine Amina, a fictional composite character representing many real women of the period. Amina, perhaps, lives in Baghdad in the 10th century. She's fascinated by the stars. Not just their beauty, but their movements, their patterns. She's not allowed formal schooling, of course. That wasn't common for women. But she's incredibly reful. She secretly attends lectures, disguised as a man, risking severe consequences if discovered. Or perhaps she learns from her father, a renowned astronomer, who recognizes her brilliance and secretly tutors her. Think about the sheer audacity of it. In a society that largely confined women to the domestic sphere, Amina dares to pursue her passion for astronomy. This wasn't just about intellectual curiosity. It was an act of rebellion. A quiet but powerful resistance to the limitations placed upon her. And she's not alone. The book highlights other women working in observatories, making meticulous calculations, contributing to the astronomical knowledge that propelled navigation and calendar systems. Then you have the medical field. Again, it's not just about a handful of exceptional women. We see a network of female healers, midwives, and physicians, passing down knowledge through generations. Some become incredibly skilled surgeons, while others specialize in herbal medicine and the treatment of women's health. They treated ailments, wrote medical treatises, and even ran their own clinics. Imagine the challenges they faced, the prejudice they overcame to provide care and heal their communities. They were incredibly brave and resilient. And it wasn't just about practicing medicine. They were also writing about it. They were contributing to the body of medical knowledge, creating and manuals that were used for centuries. It's amazing to think about the influence these women had, not just on their own communities but on the wider medical landscape. But the book also doesn't shy away from the hardships these women endured. The religious con plays a crucial role here. While Islam, in its core principles, encourages the pursuit of knowledge for both men and women, the interpretation and application of those principles varied greatly throughout history and across different regions. Conservative interpretations often limited women's access to education and public life. These women were navigating a complex social and religious landscape, constantly pushing boundaries while remaining mindful of their cultural con. The religious arguments used to justify their exclusion were often cleverly refuted by these women themselves, either implicitly or explicitly. They demonstrated their intellectual prowess and the validity of their contributions, often through the quality of their work and its impact. It's a story of subtle resistance, of persistent dedication, and often, of quiet brilliance. The middle chapters of the book also reveal the interconnectedness of these women's lives. They weren't isolated figures. They were part of larger networks of support, often relying on family members, mentors, or fellow scholars to navigate the challenges they faced. This points to strong female communities, supporting and empowering each other in ways that defied the societal limitations imposed upon them. So, it's not just about individual achievements. It's about a collective struggle for knowledge, a testament to the enduring human spirit, and a powerful counter-narrative to the often simplified portrayals of Islamic history. It's a powerful reminder that the pursuit of knowledge transcends geographical boundaries, social structures, and even time itself. This book brings to life the stories of these remarkable women, highlighting their contributions, their struggles, and their enduring legacy. And it leaves you feeling deeply inspired, frankly. What do you think? Ready to dive into the later chapters? Hey, so, we've been talking about hidden lives of Islamic women scientists, right? It's such a fascinating story, isn't it? Imagine, for centuries, these incredible women, making groundbreaking contributions to science, medicine, mathematics, all while facing incredible societal hurdles. We've covered so many amazing individuals, haven't we? From the brilliant mathematicians to the pioneering physicians. It really makes you rethink everything you thought you knew about history, especially the history of science. So, how does it all wrap up? Well, it doesn't end with one big, dramatic conclusion like a Hollywood movie. You know, it's more of a gradual realization, a dawning understanding of the depth and breadth of their achievements, and the tragic loss of so much knowledge due to wars, political upheavals, and the suppression of women's voices across the ages. Remember Fatima al-Fihri, the founder of the University of Al-Qarawiyyin in Fez, Morocco? That's a key point in understanding the overall narrative. Her establishment wasn't just a university. It was a beacon of intellectual progress, attracting scholars from across the Islamic world. A place where women could freely study and contribute to learning. Imagine a woman, centuries ago, creating an institution that thrived for over 1,000 years. It speaks volumes about the intellectual climate some women were able to access, although clearly it wasn't universally available. The book, or really, the whole story we've been exploring, ends by highlighting this contrast. It shows us the incredible peaks of achievement these women reached, the sophisticated astronomical calculations, the advancements in medicine that were far ahead of their time, the elegant solutions in mathematics, and then the devastating valleys of lost knowledge and forgotten names. Many of their works were either destroyed or simply faded from memory due to various historical factors. Think about the sheer volume of scientific literature lost during the Mongol invasions, for example, or the destruction of libraries across the centuries. It's heartbreaking to consider the potential scientific advancement that was lost. But the book also doesn't end on a purely somber note. It concludes by emphasizing the enduring legacy of these women. Even though many of their names are only now resurfacing, their contributions fundamentally shaped the scientific landscape of their time and beyond. Their innovations in algebra, medicine, and astronomy laid the groundwork for future discoveries. Their very existence, their defiance of societal norms to pursue knowledge, serves as a powerful inspiration. It's a story about resilience, about the human drive to understand the world around us, regardless of gender or societal constraints. It's a testament to the inherent human capacity for intellectual curiosity and innovation. It's a story about women who, despite the obstacles they faced, and they were immense. Remember the cultural and religious restrictions, the limitations on access to education, the sheer prejudice, managed to leave an indelible mark on history. Think about Amina al-Danari, the renowned physician, or Rabia al-Adawiya, the celebrated Sufi mystic and poet whose writings touched upon both scientific and spiritual understandings of the world. These women weren't just isolated figures. They were part of a larger network. Even if that network was hidden from our view for centuries. They interacted. They learned from each other. They built upon each other's work. The concluding chapters don't offer simple answers or easy resolutions. They pose questions, prompting us to reflect on our own understanding of history, of the role of women in science, and of the biases that have shaped our narratives. It challenges us to actively seek out and reclaim these hidden stories, to ensure that future generations don't repeat the mistakes of the past, mistakes that saw brilliant minds and groundbreaking achievements lost to the sands of time. The book ultimately leaves you with a sense of both sadness and empowerment. Sadness for the knowledge lost, the potential unrealized, the untold stories. but empowered by the realization of the strength, intelligence, and perseverance of these women. It inspires us to delve deeper into history, to seek out the untold stories, and to work towards a future where everyone has the opportunity to contribute their unique talents and perspectives to the world. It's a call to action, really, a reminder that history is not a static entity but a dynamic narrative that is constantly being rewritten and reinterpreted as we uncover new truths and perspectives. And the stories of these Islamic women scientists are crucial to that ongoing. It's a powerful and moving ending, I think, one that lingers with you long after you finish reading. What do you think? Hey, so, you were asking what hidden lives of Islamic women scientists teaches Muslims today. Right? It's a really fascinating question. And honestly, the answer is multifaceted. It's not just one thing, but a whole constellation of lessons shining light on a really important, often overlooked, part of our history. Think about it, for so long, the narrative around Islamic Golden Age achievements aired heavily on men. We hear about Al-Khwarizmi and his algebra, Avicenna and his medical breakthroughs, Ibn Sina. Brilliant minds, all true. But what about the women? Their contributions, often hidden in plain sight, or completely erased, are finally starting to get the recognition they deserve. This book, Hidden Lives, is a huge step in that direction. Firstly, and maybe most importantly, it reminds us of the sheer strength and resilience of women throughout history. These weren't just women confined to the home. They were scholars, astronomers, physicians, mathematicians, breaking boundaries in a time when many societies severely limited women's roles. Imagine the challenges they faced. Many had to navigate patriarchal structures, overcome societal expectations, and possibly even secure education in secret, all to pursue their passions. That kind of dedication is incredibly inspiring, isn't it? It makes you think about the sacrifices people make for their dreams, even when the odds are stacked against them. We learn about women like Fatima al-Fihri, who founded the University of Al-Qarawiyyin in Fez, Morocco, one of the oldest existing universities in the world. Can you believe that? A woman, in the 9th century, established a center of learning that thrived for centuries. That act alone speaks volumes about the possibilities that existed, even if we often forget them. It challenges the stereotypical view of women in that era, showing that even within a largely patriarchal system, women found ways to exert influence and leadership. And it's not just about leadership in the broader sense. We see women excelling in specific fields, contributing significant knowledge to medicine, mathematics, astronomy. Some were known for their skills in herbal medicine, creating remedies and treatments, while others pushed the boundaries of astronomy, charting the stars and contributing to our understanding of the cosmos. Think of Amina al-Din, a 15th century physician known for her expertise, or Mayam al-Ijliya, a Syrian astronomer who wrote astronomical tables. These women were not just passive recipients of knowledge. They were active producers and innovators, adding their unique perspectives and genius to the vast tapes of Islamic scholarship. Secondly, Hidden Lives helps us reassess our understanding of Islamic history. It's not just about battles and conquests. It's about a rich intellectual and cultural heritage that included significant female contributions. It reminds us that the Islamic Golden Age wasn't just a golden age for men. It was a golden age for women, too, even if their stories have been largely untold. This enriched understanding is crucial for building a more accurate and complete narrative of our past. It helps combat biased historical accounts and reclaim our collective heritage. This isn't just about adding women to a pre-existing narrative. It's about fundamentally changing the narrative itself, creating a more complete and just picture. The book also underscores the importance of education and knowledge within the Islamic tradition. The emphasis on seeking knowledge, talab al-ilm, is central to Islamic teachings. This book shows us how women actively embraced this principle, even in the face of adversity. It's a powerful reminder of the value Islam places on intellectual pursuits, and how that value extended to women, even if societal structures often hindered their access to it. It's a call to action, really, to continue to champion education and empowerment for women everywhere, aligning our actions with the core principles of our faith. Furthermore, Hidden Lives serves as a powerful example of the importance of uncovering hidden narratives. It encourages us to critically examine our history, to question what we've been taught, and to actively seek out the voices that have been silenced. By rediscovering these forgotten stories, we gain a deeper appreciation for the diversity and richness of our heritage. And we learn to appreciate the contributions of individuals often marginalized or overlooked. This is a vital lesson, not just for Muslims, but for everyone who values historical accuracy and social justice. Ultimately, Hidden Lives of Islamic Women Scientists is a powerful testament to the human spirit. It's a reminder that genius knows no gender, and that contributions to knowledge and progress come from all walks of life. It's of inspiration for Muslim women today, demonstrating that they, too, can break barriers and achieve greatness in any field they choose. And it's a call to all of us to actively work towards creating a more inclusive and equitable society, one where everyone has the opportunity to fulfill their potential, regardless of their gender or background. It's about reclaiming our heritage, celebrating our achievements, and building a brighter future, a more complete and honest understanding of our past. So yeah, it's a pretty impactful book. Goodbye. May Allah bless us all. That's our discussion for today.